Hey guys, sorry this is late. See what's going on. Not a whole lot last time I checked, but we'll check it out, and update it. Nice little rally there in the Russell from last night. I was watching this last night. All right, that's the Russell. Let's look at the S&P. Similar situation. S&P kind of trading in this no man's land where there wasn't a lot of volume. It just blew right through this area the other day. What day was that? Friday. Yeah, Friday. Anyway, it's coming back and filling in this area. Same thing with NASDAQ. It looks similar. Bitcoin's up, but not very much. Not very much at all. All right, let's look at pros and Joes. All right, so this is. Let me fix this. Thought I fixed this yesterday. All right, this is the VIX, which is the Joes. And the Joes are definitely selling premium. And let's look and see if the pros are still buying it. No, finally, the pros right here, which is VIVIX, the pros were buying premium, just if you look at the slope of the moving average. Back from late July all the way in here to August, all the way through August. But recently it changed, and the pros and Joes got on the same page August 21st. And since then, they've both been selling volatility. So no signal from there. The only time this would interest us is if it was back in August when the pros were buying volatility and the Joes were selling it. We would usually go with the pros and think that maybe we have a sell-off around the corner. All right, so now let's look at the Crypto Trinity, which is now the Crypto Quartet. It's no longer the Crypto Trinity. There it is. Crypto Quartet. I need to change the name of it up here. All right, Crypto Quartet. So it just happens to be on the fourth member of the Crypto Quartet. It's just where it opened. These are the salty positions. Blue is the allocation. Now they're shorts, so they're negatively allocated, but in Abercrombie and Fitch is nearly 7% of the portfolio. And BE, whatever that is, what is BE? It's more than 7% of the portfolio. What was BE? I was just looking at that the other day. We'll just check it out. Oh gosh darn it. I should know BE. Bloom Energy. Okay. All right. Well, in any event, here's the Crypto Quartet. So we'll just start with Alti. All right. The blue line is the allocation, and the red line is whether they're up or down today. So you could see the highest allocated ETF was ASTS, more than 6%, and it's doing well today. It's up 5.5% itself. Oklo, same thing, allocated heavily and doing well. Really, everything's doing well today. Galaxy's pulling back a little bit, Coinbase pulling back, but pretty much everything's doing well. ALTI itself is up 67 bips. The average stock within their universe is up 1.7. Good job. Good job. Now let's go over here to LFGY. All right, here's the same chart on LFGY. Blue is the allocation and red is if the market's up or down. Their biggest one is their biggest market performer is HUT. It's up 8% and it comprises 4% of their portfolio. Their biggest individual position is IBIT, and it's flat today, down a little bit. MicroStrategy's flat today. It's a big position for them also. If you look, LFGY itself is down 5 basis points. The average stock is up a little bit. All right, that's LFGY. So now let's look over here at blocks. All right, here's the same chart. The blue line is the allocation. Here's HUT over here, up 8%, and it comprises 4.66% of, it actually moved up a little bit more. Now it's up 8.96%. It's up 9%. Great job, HUT. Great job. Their biggest positions are HODL, FBTC, and Ether. And their average of all their positions in blocks is up a point. Blocks itself is kind of flat today. It's down 14 bips. Okay, and then I guess we'll go back to Salty. It's where we started from when I was talking about Bloom Energy. So we want these to be down. Down is good. So Abercrombie and Fitch is helping us out. Bill is helping us out. What's Bill? I should know that too. Bill. Anyway, GitLab's helping us out, or helping out people that own Salty. MongoDB is helping out. So Salty itself, the average stock is up a little bit, which is not what we want because it's a short fund. Or I'm sorry, Salty. The average holding is up a little bit. And Salty itself is also up a little bit. So that's fine. So I made a show yesterday and didn't broadcast it. I probably should have. Right now. Well, I don't know what's going on. Yeah, it's called Salty Shorts. Now, this was based on the end of day yesterday. Salty actually had a good day, was up 92 basis points yesterday, and after hours, it was up. This was the total gain for the day. Yesterday was 2.17. The Salty short strategy was working. Mara was down 4.1% for them yesterday. Unfortunately, CrowdStrike was up, cost them a little bit of money. Here's the daily performance chart. Now, that, like I say, that was based on yesterday. Maybe I'll do one today after the bell rings and actually broadcast a show this time. But here's all their positions and what happened yesterday with them. And then also, then I did the same thing with ULTY. Biggest gainers, biggest losers. I made an infographic. Here's the allocation. Anyway, it's basically the same thing that the Crypto Quartet does, but I was just trying some different stuff. I probably should have had a show. I probably should have done this show last night. There's the price changes. Rocket Lab was up yesterday. ASTS was killing it. Anyway, all right. Enough of that. So we looked at the Crypto Quartet. Let's look at high yield technical analysis, see what's going on over here. All right. Let's get a new top 20 list. Why don't we? Wow, look at this. NVDY took over YETH. NVDY is now number one. Big news there. NVDW is number two. YETH is number three. Still doing well with an 80% yield and 10% NAV return for the quarter. It's hard to argue with NVDY, and NVDY actually has history. It's been around for more than a year, so it shows us a total return last year of 26%. Well, that's wonderful. Look at Soxy getting up here. 10.15% dividend, returning a lot of your money back to you in form of NAV appreciation. All of these on the top. The top six are all up double digits in NAV just for the quarter, which is incredible. So that's NVDY, NVDW, YETH, Goop, Soxy, and KQQQ. These covered call funds don't get a lot of upside. That's true, just because of the nature of covered calls, but don't tell that to these guys. I mean, heck, 10% upside for a quarter is like 40%, and that's just NAV. That's just NAV, and then you have to figure in the yield, and all of these pay a nice yield too. KQQQ being the lowest of them, but still, I mean, when you combine a yield like nearly 7% with a 11% NAV return, that's pretty good, especially when you consider KQQQ just hit its 1 year anniversary, I believe, or it's been recently. That thing had 20% total return for the year last year. I mean, it almost did as well as NVDY and Goop. And those are based on single stocks. I mean, 20% is really good. I mean, for anything, but especially for an index. Think about that. KQQQ beat Clip last year. It beat Will. It beat IMW. Great performance. Great performance. We'll take a look at the long term really quick. See if we've had any changes on the long-term list. Come on. There we go. NVD. There we have it. Let me put this in bold. NVDY leading both list. That's incredible. Look at YBTC number two with a total return last year of 58%. And this is a covered call high yield fund that pays 44% dividend. So if it just do a story problem. So if it had a total return last year, 58%, and it paid a dividend of say 48%, that means the NAV would have had to have been up 10% last year. That's all that's left over. Well, unfortunately, I don't show that by itself, but this is one of those rare funds where you can get a huge payment and still have some NAV appreciation. But of course, that's because Bitcoin did so well last year. I wonder what well, we can look here in a second. I wonder what IBIT was up last year. I bet it was more than 58%. I bet it was about 100%. And this thing captured 58% of it, giving you 44% back in the form of yield. That comes out of the NAV. So subtract 44 from 58. The NAV of this thing was up probably 14, 15%, whatever the difference is. It has to be, because there's no free money. Money doesn't fall out of the sky. So it all money comes from somewhere, usually somebody else's pocket. I was seeing something in our Discord today, or maybe it was yesterday, with the famous Warren, was it Warren Buffett or Charlie Munger quote about the market's a machine that gives money, takes money from the inpatient and gives it to the patient, or I totally butchered that, but something like that. Anyway, but look on this long term. We have some precious metal based high yield funds. We have SLVO based on silver, iGold based on gold, CDXY based on gold miners, but it's definitely tied into the gold economy. Then we have GLDI. That one's been around for a long time. That's one of the older ones. And then I guess that's all for the precious metals. But so we have probably 4 precious metals. And then how many DeFi do we have on this long-term list? You'd say Maxi and YBTC for sure. That's 2 totally DeFi. AIPI, I mean, that's AI based kind of. Anyway, 2 DeFi and 4 precious metals. So it's sign of the times. All right. So what else can we look at? We'll look at the index buffer report. Well, Salty, I just showed it. I just showed it over here in the Crypto Quartet. And there it is. Salty itself is actually up a little bit. So the individual stocks, hang on here. Let me make this better. Let's switch this to a percentage. I don't know why it's doing that. Anyway, the average stock is pretty much flat, and Salty itself is actually up 85 basis points. This is just showing up 9 basis points. Good old Google working for me again. Was it ever up that much? I don't know if it was ever up that much. I mean, I don't know. But I'd rather be up 85 basis points than 9 basis points, but I don't know why it's doing that. The Crypto Quartet, this just can't be that hard. The change percentage. I mean, let's put something that we know what it is in here, or let's put something else to test it. I just don't understand why this can't work. Is Apple down 17 bips? Yeah, 16 bips, but so, it's like anything else. It should work, but it never does. Salty had a big day yesterday. I mean, Salty killed it yesterday. I mean, I don't know where they get that from. Anyway, sorry about that. I think this chart's pretty cool, though, how you could see the weightings and at the same time. I used to show 2 charts with the weightings and the performance. But just looking here, you can see, and that's what it is. It's not really 85 basis. It's 0.0008. It's basically flat. I don't understand why this has to be so bad. Well, I don't know. I don't know. All right, let's look at the index buffer report. It usually works. It's primitive as it is. It usually just works. Have an interview in less than 2 hours. Are you guys going to be there? It's 1 o'clock, but that's 12. It's 1 o'clock Eastern, which is 12 o'clock my time, which is in an hour and 45 minutes. David Nicholas from X Funds is going to be on. Really looking forward to talking to him about the options strategies they use. They're more than just your basic vanilla covered call fund. They do some interesting stuff with the overlays. And I've talked with Jay, I've spoken with Jay about it before, but it'd be nice to speak with David Nicholas about it. It's not just blocks. It's also the other two funds don't just do covered calls. They do covered call spreads and different things. All right. Well, feed and 5E, it never fails, up the most, down the most. I guess the market's just pretty much moving flat. So we could have a day where Salty and Alti can both make money together. And I was showing, even on the crypto quartet, I was showing both of them up. Salty's not really up 85 bips, but it was showing up, and Alti's showing up. LFGY's up. These sideways days, these guys are just collecting data decay, time decay, whatever. Yeah, but look over here. Alti's the best performing one on the board today, up 96 bips. Even if you use the Russell for its underlying, it's outperforming the Russell. Great job, Salty. USORI finally pulling back a little bit today. All right, so that's the index buffer report. Let's look at the yield max buffer report. Look at this. AMDY catching all of this sweet upside. Alti killing it, catching more than 100% of the upside. You got to love that, or I got to love that. Is on the downside, unfortunately, Aptly is catching more than all of Apple's downside today. And then Abney, same situation. Abney is catching more than 100% of the parent assets downside. If you haven't checked it out lately, go to stocktools.app/max. That lets them know I sent you. And if you stick around, they give me a little commission, and I appreciate that. But this thing is absolutely incredible. Welcome to Max's referrals. Max, anyway, I signed in on my own referral, I guess. But this income ETF analysis is amazing. So let's go here. Let's kind of help me prepare for my questions today. So wonder if we would, let's take a look at Blocks, GEOX, and FIOX, which are the X funds. Now, does X funds have their own section in here? I don't think they do. And it's probably because they just have 3 funds, but that's fun. So we are going to do something like this. Let's put Blocks in here. Let's compare Blocks to Alti. Oh, and we also have a GEOX and FI. I have a couple of other ones in here, Blocks and Baggy. Man, Baggy's a good one that doesn't get enough praise. Okay, so here we have it on this mini comparison right here. Let's go back. Let's go back a little bit further. That's a month. Well, I mean, that's fine. All right. In the past month, they all pay a generous dividend. GEOX paid 2%. I think it basically targets 24%. FIOX pays like 8%. Right? And GEOX pays like 24%. No, let's do it another way. All right, so we'll just compare them. FIOX, we're comparing it to the SPY. Has it really been out since 22? Maybe it has. All right, well, let's look at it in FinViz. And no, it hasn't been. There was another fund with that same name. It's been out since February 26th of 25. So let's do this. All right. So there we have FIOX. And this is supposed to be, I think, similar to a bond, or because it's fixed income. That's what fixed income alternatives. So we'd expect SPY to beat it both ways, on the way down, on the way up. It did great on the way down compared to the SPY, of course, because it's fixed income. It was down 5% in a time when the SPY was down 15%. On the way up, of course, the SPY beat it, but I was just trying to look at the dividends. Excuse me. All right, this is half a year. It's paid 73 cents. So that's $1.46. If it were a full year, this is an $18 stock. So it's 7 or 8%. I think it's about 8%. Okay, which is good for fixed income. So let's compare that. I wonder if what's another fixed income one? Its underlying is more like the AG, which is the aggregate bond. Let's see here. Let me make sure that's a good underline for on. Well, it sure pays a lot more. It's this alternative income pays a lot more, but the NAV doesn't do as well. The aggregate bond one pays $4 on 90, like 4% or something, 3%, 2%. All right, so now let's look at GX. And we can compare GX to the SPY. This is global equity, and it's done very well. And paid a good dividend. Look at this. It paid $2.12 over half a year. Wait. Let's look at GX here. GX has been around longer, though, because I think GX just turned 1 yesterday. Yeah, GX has been around longer. GX pays a really nice dividend, $4.10 on 19. That's about 20, 24, 22, 23%, something like that. And then, of course, finally, we have blocks, BLOX. Let's compare that to ULTY. Or LFGY might be a fair comparison for it. Okay, so it's throttling ULTY. It's almost like it has leverage. It doesn't, but it does get double X upside between the two strikes because of the put spread. Because they have a put spread, and then they're also long stock. So between the strikes, they're long, and then they're long stock. So at a certain point of the return, they're double long. But anyway, it's been working out great for these guys. Paid $1.22 over a fifth of a year. So that's $6 over a full year on something that cost 19, 25, 30%. Not paying as high as ULTY, but you can see it's having better NAV performance. ULTY went from 618 to 574. In the same time frame, this thing went from 19 to 21. And great job. All right, what questions do you guys want me to ask about blocks, FIOX, or GOX? Do you guys have any? I'd be happy to ask them for you if you would like. Hey, Froggy. Hey, Steve, Red Sox, how are you doing? What's my opinion on IYR? I really haven't studied it yet. That's real estate, right? Real estate income. I guess we just need to put it in the max factor. It probably is. I mean, well, I'm data driven. We'll see how it does. Yeah, Steve, thank you so much for being here. Sorry this is late. PLTW, liking that PLTW. I don't blame you. Froggy's in the house. 10% is the lowest I will hold for an income stock these days. Sure. That KQQQ though, I mean, I know it's only 6%, but it's, and that may be that is part of the reason why it's dominating, but it's outperforming the Qs last time I checked. I mean, and it's paying 6%. So the Qs pay less than 1%. I mean, the Qs do give you a dividend. I mean, that because Apple's in there and it pays a nice dividend. There's other ones that pay a nice dividend in the Qs, but still, most of them are growth and as such don't pay dividends. But you basically, so even if the Qs paid 1%, you're 6xing your dividend and getting the same overall performance, which is just incredible. I mean, that's really good. But I hear you. I mean, I go back and forth on where does high yield start. I mean, really, I think high yield starts at above 12. I mean, because there's old Wall Street firms that can sell monthly calls like Global X, and whenever volatility is high enough, which it has been lately, pay 1% a month without any problem, so really it starts more than that. You get into T-SPY paying 15, and you get into some of the other ones paying 18, FEPI paying 20. I think that to me, 12 is the big dividing line. But yeah, I hear you. Hey JT, how are you doing? Yeah, well, KQQQ, I mean, it's the full package. I mean, it is the full package. All right, JT, you got some blocks, some SEPI, some AIPI, and some CO2. Boy, you are ready to go you're ready to go as far as AI and crypto goes and DeFi. And now you got some C-Cup. The other day, somebody asked me to look at C-Cup, and I did, but it wasn't income. So I just don't mess with stuff that's not income, or at least on the channel. It was not that it can't be. Well, it was just Circle. It was just leverage Circle. Right? Is that right? C-Cup, was it Circle that's leveraged? Yeah. So they just own a swap in Circle, and it gives them double upside. It hasn't been working out great for them lately. Let's look at the parent asset, though. Yeah, that's the problem. Parent assets down, the high yield fund's going to be down also. You can't do anything about that. Now, there was a big nasty gap right here that maybe the market wanted to fill, and it looks like it did fill it, and now we're on the other side of it, which isn't super bullish. But in any event, that would have been a nice place to maybe for the bulls to mount a rally. The rally's probably still forthcoming. Maybe there's, who knows? Who knows? But I never even talk about the ones that don't pay a yield, because there's so many of them that just pay a yield. So JT, you're a big believer in ETH. Yeah. Well, no, that's awesome. And that's the main thing. It doesn't matter if fund sells covered calls, covered puts, but they could do whatever income strategies for dime a dozen. You find the one that has the best underlying, and it doesn't matter if one fund's fully capped and the other fund isn't. If it has an underlying that's up 200%, it's going to also be a good high yield fund. Just, So yeah, it's all about that underlying. And if some of these people aren't like a lot of people say they're option traders. They say I'm an option trader, but really they're just stock traders. What they'll do is they'll buy a call when they like a company, or they'll sell puts when they like the company, but their focus is on the stock. And I think that's a good thing to do. And so even in these or especially in these high yield funds, listen to people like me that are talking about the option strategies and stuff. That's fine. But still, it comes down to you figuring out which underline's the hottest. The underline is, it's the whole thing. So Circle is the repository for stable coins, and stable coins are nearly, No, I mean, heck yeah. I mean, anything Tom Lee's in. What about Bitmine immersion? What do you think about Bitmine immersion? I didn't realize it, but you realize immersion technology is mining. Isn't that like mining underwater, or mining like with water cooled equipment? I've seen Tom Lee the other day, and that's what he was talking about. Bitmine immersion was using immersion mining, which is, and I've heard about that. I've heard in the future they might mine in the ocean to save on heat and to insulate and stuff, Blocks has a small position in Circle, correct? Yeah. Pretty much everything in the Crypto Trinity or the Crypto Quartet has Circle. Salty doesn't have a short Circle, but I believe LFGY, or at times they've had one. I don't remember if they did today. Circle has already had a huge move up, but maybe it's time for the next move to start, right? All right. So are you guys going to be here in an hour and a half? What are you guys doing? You guys have plans? Because I need people here to ask questions. If I run out of questions, I want somebody here to have a question in the comments. And I know you guys will have tons of questions, but it's going to be a big interview. I'm looking forward to talking with David. He hasn't been on our station before. I have my hat on. I don't know if I'll wear it for the interview. Probably not. Probably not. But I am starting to like this hat. I'm starting to get used to the way it's cut. And, I mean, I look just like that Stephen Gardner guy. Small head, huge hat. GDXY, I don't know. It's underrated. It's been, I hear people talk bad about it. Oh, it's not really gold. It's miners. And it's, you need to get GLDI. People tell me I need to get something else or whatever. But well, let's look. And every time I think about getting something else, and then I start doing this. Let's see, GLDI, and we're going to look at GDXY. It's just been a heck of a run for these GDXY guys. I mean, granted, it's been a good run for GLDI. Maybe I do need some GLDI. Look at that thing. It ended up in about the same place. They ended up close to the same place, but GLDY did it almost without any volatility at all. I mean, it's just up and to the right. Maybe I do need to get some GLDI. The problem with it is, or one problem with it is, it pays a really small. It only paid $30 on 150. It pays a small dividend. GDXY pays a large dividend, but you can see it in the NAV price. I mean, of course, dividend comes out of the NAV. GDXY's NAV is started at 19, is at 15 because of that big dividend coming out. GLDY's dividend is smaller. Its NAV started at 151, and now it's at 160. Still not doing great. That's not a ton of NAV upside. 151 to 160 over a year and a quarter. That's why we say people say cover calls don't get any upside, and that's not true, but it's true they don't get a lot of upside. And this GLDY is a prime example because it's been trading an underlying that's absolutely been on fire, which is GLD, and it got $9 upside on 150 over the course of a year. And that's because the high yield funds give you your upside back in the form of a distribution, more so in the form of NAV. Let's just compare GLDI to GLD, which is its underlying. Now, GLD, the underlying went from 188 to 309, but didn't pay a yield. You know, you got it all back, and it just depends if you wanted a NAV or you wanted in distribution, or you want a little bit of both. But yeah, this GLDI is, I mean, GLDI is looking good to me. So do you guys not, or who's in here talking about GDXY? Did you not like it, or have you guys? I get a lot of grief about that one. But yeah, I'd say it's underrated. Hey Dan, thank you for being here. Are you going to be around at 11, Dan, or 12? It's 12 my time, 1 Eastern. That's my interview. And it's going to be live on YouTube. So anyway, if you guys are available to be around, that'd be awesome. If not, I understand it. You guys can watch it later. And Mike's here. We got, how many mics in the house we got? We have at least 2, and I bet you there's a couple more out there somewhere. Who knows? You never know. When you got 12 people, you can't, I mean, just statistically, you're going to have like 3 or 4 mics anytime you have 12 men gathered around. Very common name. Yeah, it's today. It is today at 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock Eastern. And Dan actually helped me make my thumbnail, or he did. I had a poor thumbnail, and he I used your exact wording. Dan said, "Why don't you mention FIOX and GIOX?" So I just copy and pasted Dan's message and put it straight in the thumbnail, because it was great advice. So let's see here. Maybe I'll repost this really quick. Check in over here, and we'll confirm. We will confirm and see what's going on. My videos. All right, lives. All right, so here it is. Let's get a shareable link. So there's the thumbnail. Yeah, but the blocks interviews today. Thank you, JT. I appreciate you being here. Hey, on Salty's distribution, I'm keeping track of every penny, but they did not put the trades from yesterday up. And it's not just a Max problem. I checked out ETF Inspector. I haven't checked out ETF Delta, but ETF Inspector was also unable to download the trades. So when I showed you the Crypto Quartet, that's based on the holdings. They published the holdings. So we know what they're holding, but I did not get the trades. And as far as I know, no influencer has. As soon as I get yesterday's trades, I'll put them in, and we'll do a dividend estimate. But right now, I'm just saying it's going to be high based on what I was looking at. So let's see. It's under the trade tracker. All right, trade tracker Altis, where I was keeping track of it. Yeah, check this out. It's going to be. I mean, it looks like it's high. It looks like it could be high. So, Salty div tracker. All right. So, the first day they collected premium of 36,000. Second day 12,000, and third day 26,000. And that one day, Wednesday, wasn't really a full day. That's the day they put the trades on. So they really had 2 days. But anyway, that's how much premium they collected. Well, that comes out to a huge, right now, even the lowest of the threes looking at 150%. Now, I don't really think it's going to be that high. I think, but it looks like it's going to be high based on what they're doing. Even on the most recent day that I have, Friday, which would be from Thursday's trades, or no, I guess this would be Friday's trades. So I have Friday's trades. I just don't have Monday's trades. That's right. So even based on Friday's trades where they doubled their share count, they went from 75 to 125,000. On that day, they sold $123,000 worth of premium. They spent 97 on the hedges, but they still brought in 26,000 in premium. So you look at 26,000, and the AUM in the fund is 6 million. So if you look at that, you can do it a couple of different ways. It comes out to 21 cents a share, or it comes out to about 93%. So we shall see. But we shall see. So I don't know. I'm going to say 80% or something. We still have a couple of days. Hopefully I'll get these done. On Alti, it's the same deal. It's right here. Now, Alti's trades, we can already guess the dividend because they pay on a Monday through Monday. I didn't know that. So we have everything we need in here right now. So Alti is done 3 cents, 6 cents, 8 cents, 9 cents, and oh no, that's cumulative. Okay. All right. So last week they made 1.8 cents, 4.9 cents. That's a huge day. Oh, but that's still cumulative. Okay. Last week they made 1 cent, 3 cents, 4 cents, 2 cents, and 3 cents. So 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 4 is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I mean, I don't really think they're going to pay 13, but they have plenty of money to but I bet they'll pay at least 10. Let's just say that. Because, I mean, it looks to me like they made that one day, Friday, ETF Inspector was saying that it was actually Wednesday, but ETF Inspector was saying it was the biggest day that he'd ever tracked. And me too. And on that day, I come up with that they made 4 cents a share just on that day, just in premium. So I'm expecting a big one this week. Maybe it'll be more than 10. I mean, based on this, it could be more than 10, but I just started tracking these. So we'll see. We shall see. All right, guys. So I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate y'all for being here. Be at my interview. Be there at 1 o'clock your time, noon my time. Dan's going to be there. Dan's moderating. So if you guys make any off-color comments, if you say anything inappropriate, if you ask a question about erosion, I've instructed Dan to put you in timeout. You can ask whatever question you want, but yeah, Dan's going to be there making sure there's no trolls there. We don't usually have a problem with trolls, so I think it'll be awesome. I think it's going to be a great interview. I'm looking forward to you guys being there. All right, guys. JY's already got the link up. Appreciate that. Yeah, do hit like and subscribe. Why don't you do that? Just for the heck of it, see what happens, right? All right, guys. I'll see you here in a little while. Talk to you soon.